Hello all. We have probably missed about two sessions in last 4 weeks, and I have another program to personal program tomorrow, so I didn't want to break the continuity. I thought I'll prepone the session by half an hour, the timings by half an hour, and cover it. But then I saw we were not full strength also, so I thought this time let's do it a bit different, and you got to bear with the online classes this time. All the students are going through the online classes, so we also got to bear with online class this time. But it's good just to try something different and see how it goes, and we will also ensure continuity, and then we will get back from next week, get together from next week to continue the sessions. And of course, this week I'm not going to make it full 1 hour. We have a very short, interesting story to cover, so I'm going to keep it brief. Last week we saw that Arjuna had come back to Pandavas, and Pandavas were very happy. They had the last 2 years of their exile to cover, so they actually decided to come back to Kamyaka forest. So when they were traveling from the Himavanas to towards Kamyaka, they actually go and stay in between. They come into an ashram called Vrishaparva, and in Vrishaparva they decide to stay for some time and relax a bit before they go forward. So what happened in this Vrishaparva ashram when they were staying in the Vrishaparva ashram is Bhima is now suddenly he is fully energized, and the Kshatriya is in him is at the peak. This is something very common to all of us also. When suddenly something just motivates that spark, when there is a spark to all of us, something that motivates something from inside, we will be flying for at least a couple of days. We will be fully on to it, and that is what happens to Bhima. The Kshatriya in him is at the full speed. So he actually goes out for hunting. When the rest of the Pandavas were staying in the ashram, he goes out for hunting. And he just starts wandering around the forest, and suddenly he sees a huge python. The python will be so huge that he wouldn't have seen anything of that sort before. But still, Bhima is Bhima. He had that slight ego that he's the strongest man, and he always felt that nobody and nothing can actually cause any trouble to him. At least physically, nobody nor anybody nor any animal can win over him from a physical combat point of view. So he was still confident that he'll be able to deal with the python. And suddenly the python started spiraling around him, and ಅದು ಅವನು ತುಂಬ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅವನು ಸುತ್ತಿ ಹೆಬ್ಬಾವು ಸುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅದು ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆ ಹೆಬ್ಬಾವನ್ನ ಭೀಮನ್ನ ತುಂಬ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸುತ್ತಕೊಂಡು ಅವನ್ನ ಹಿಂಡಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So it will start crumbling him. And suddenly Bhima will realize that he is not able to do anything about it, and he is so surprised. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಆನೆ, ಹುಲಿ, ಸಿಂಹ ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು he would have taken care like this, left ಎಡಗೈ ಕೆಲಸ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ. We also have seen in the past he takes care of beasts, ರಾಕ್ಷಸಸ್, ಅವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಾನು ನೀರು ಕುಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಸೋಲ್ಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿಷಯ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅವನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೆಬ್ಬಾವ್ ಸುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು, ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಅವನು ಯಾವ ಶಕ್ತಿನೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ Bhima feels that his physical strength is of no use. And again, psychologically ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವೋ, ನಾವು ಯಾವುದು ನಮಗೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವೋ, ಕೆಲವು ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ಲೆಸ್ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್, ಆರ್ ವಿ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸಮನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್. In fact, I always remember what Shankaracharya says in Bhajagovindam, Harati Nimesha Kala Sarvam Ma Kuru Dhana Jana Yavana Garvam. So ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಆ ಪವರ್ ಇದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಹಣ ಇದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಇದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಗುಡ್, ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಅದು ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ then it will one day the nature will teach us a lesson. ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ. That's what happens. Bhima is suddenly surprised. ಯಾವುದೋ reptile ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು it is giving me such a challenge. I'm not able to do anything ಅಂತ. But he realizes this is something very special. It is not a normal reptile. So he actually starts talking to that reptile. He'll start asking, who are you? I have taken care of so many other wild animals before. Nothing has given me such a challenge. I'm not able to do anything. My physical strength is of no use now. Who are you? To his surprise, the python starts talking like a human being, and he will be even more surprised. The python will say, I'm Nahusha. And if you remember, I briefly touched upon this character called Nahusha in the very beginning, before even we started the Adi Parva, and I gave the introduction to Mahabharata. I briefly touched upon this character called Nahusha. So Nahusha, ಆ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರು ಅವನು ಶಾಪ ಹಾಕಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. He was supposed to go to ಇಂದ್ರಲೋಕ, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂದ್ರಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನ ಈಗೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದು ಅವನು ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ಋಷಿ ಮುನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಕೊಡದೆ ಅಗಸ್ತ್ಯ ಮುನಿಗಳು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಶಾಪ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಡ್ ಬೀನ್ ಕರ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಅಗಸ್ತ್ಯ. ಅಂಡ್ ಅವನ ಆ ಶಾಪದಿಂದಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಹೆಬ್ಬಾವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಪೈಥನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದು ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಆ ಶಾಪ ವಿಮೋಚನೆ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ, ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಹಿ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕರ್ಸ್, until there is a cure for his curse, he is going to remain a python. And that is what Agastya would have cursed him with. So Nahusha, the python, will actually tell that story to Bhima. So now Bhima will start sympathizing that that particular python, and he says Nahusha anta kelid takshana avanage he will have all the respect because he is an ancestor. Our Tatan is an ancestor in the same lineage. So he starts respecting, and he feels sorry for the state of Nahusha. Ayo, nee ishtu varsha you have been struggling so much. It's no big deal in dying. So he actually tells the python that, see, there's no big deal in dying. I'm not afraid of dying today. The only problem is, the only thing I am worried about is I'm going to die without fulfilling the vow I took. I'm going to die without fulfilling the promise that I gave to Draupadi. I'm going to die leaving all my brothers alone to fight it out. I probably, at least my brothers expected to me their biggest strength. So I would have definitely loved to die like a kshatriya fighting in the battlefield. ಈ ಥರ ಒಂದು ರೆಪ್ಟೈಲಿಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡು ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಐ ನೆವರ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಅದೊಂದೇ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಜಾರು. ಬಟ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನೀನು ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಆಹಾರ ಸಾಯೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೇನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. And the reptile starts asking Bhima, who are you? You seem to be a nice man. Who are you? Then Bhima gives his introduction. He is in pain, but still he gives his introduction with pain, lot of pain. He says, I am the second son of Pandu. I am Panduputra. I was born to Kunti by the blessing of Vayu. So my brother is Yudhishthira, my younger brother is Arjuna. He gives the whole introduction to the python. And then suddenly python starts saying, oh, I see. The Agastya Muni, when he cursed me, he actually told me the cure for this curse comes when someone from my own lineage, when a very strong person from my own lineage, I catch him for food. And when his elder brother would come and answer all my questions of dharma. Now, for Nahusha to have a cure for his curse, he has to run a quiz program, and someone from his own lineage will have to answer all the quizzes right. Someone from his own lineage should win the quiz program, and then Nahusha is cured of the curse. And that's the kind of cure that Agastya Muni had told him. So he has to now run a quiz program. So he says, this is what Agastya Muni told me, that is what I faintly remember, though most of my memory is erased. This is what I remember. So now I feel you are the person, you are the strongest person whom I have got. So you are of my lineage, ನೀನು ನನ್ನ ವಂಶದವನೇ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲವ್ ಯು, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ ಯು. ನನಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ, ನನಗೆ ನೀನು ನನ್ನ ಲೀನೇಜ್ ಅವನೇ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ, ವೆನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮೈ ಸನ್, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮೈ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸನ್. ಬಟ್ ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಾನಿರೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನೀನು ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿನ್ನಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಈಟ್ ಯು ಔಟ್. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ question of leaving you. On the other hand, what happens? Now suddenly Yudhishthira starts feeling a bit odd. ನನಗೆ ಭೀಮ ತುಂಬ ಹೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್, ಅವ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಓಮನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡು. ಅವ್ನು ಧರ್ಮರಾಯ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸಿ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, people who can observe the nature and the changes in their surrounding well, they have an intuition. ಅದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಜಿಕಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಕೆನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಎ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಟು ದೀಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಬೈ ಸಬ್ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಯರೀಸ್, ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಏನೋ ಅನ್ಸತ್ತೆ, ಇವತ್ತೇನೋ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇವತ್ತೇನೋ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ವೈ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಏನೋ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಗುಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಗುಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿದೆ, ಏನು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯುಧಿಷ್ಠಿರ ವಾಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ ಸರೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ದ ಚೇಂಜಸ್, ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ. ವಾಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್ ವರ್ಸ್. ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಎಮೋಷನಲ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಎಮೋಷನಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. So he will start feeling the bad omen and he will feel something is bad. I need to go in search of Bhima ankondo. He will set out, ashramdinda bandu, he will set out and tries to go in search of Bhima. Tumba ಹೊತ್ತು ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು. He would have started much before. ಇದು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಭೀಮಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಹುಷ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ನಡೀತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯುಧಿಷ್ಠಿರ is already searching for Bhima. ಸೊ ಅವನು ಹುಡುಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಅವನು ಬಂದು ಆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿ he will be surprised, shocked. ಏನಿದು ಭೀಮನೊಂದು ಹಾವು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸುತ್ತಕೊಂಡು ಭೀಮ ಎಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಅಪ್, ಅವ್ನು ಏನು ಆಗದೆ ಹಿಂಗಿದಾನಲ್ಲ. ಅವನಿಗೂ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ. he could deal with anything from a physical combat perspective. ಭೀಮ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಥರ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು he will not talk to, I mean he will talk to a reptile. He will start talking to Bhima. Bhima, what is this? What happened to you today? Why are you struggling to come out from the clutches of this python? You have dealt with things that are much stronger than this. Why are you struggling like this? He asks Bhima. Then Bhima actually tells him, gives him the whole story that this was our ancestor Nahusha, and he is like this because he has been cursed by Agastya Muni, and he has probably caught me today for his dinner. Then Yudhishthira being Yudhishthira, he will respect anybody and anything. So he will kneel down in front of the python and he will say, please, oh Lord, oh my ancestor, oh my grandfather, I bow to you. Can't you please let Bhima out? And if you are really looking for something for food, I am there. Please eat me. And this point really strikes hard on Bhima. I have been telling in many sessions now that Bhima had that slight ego. He used to think that Yudhishthira is okay, is there. He's a very nice person. He can't do anything. It's we who have to take care of the war. I am there, Arjuna is there, so we will take care of the war. That's the kind of attitude he had. Now, for the first time, it hit him hard that physical strength is not everything. That the moment Yudhishthira said that, he knew what Yudhishthira is, why Yudhishthira is someone who is hailed by everyone. Yudhishthira says, please eat me because Bhima is needed. He needs to fulfill his woe. He needs to win the war for us. I am a sinner. I mean, in fact, all these things are happening because of me. I would be very happy to, die and be food for you. And then Nahusha says, see, I can't do that. Okay, I have caught your brother in the 6th period of the day, which is the dinner. So once caught, I'm almost done. I am going to kill him and eat him. Okay. So there's no way that I'm going to let go of your brother today. If there is any chance that I'm going to let go of your brother, there's only one chance, and that is that, as I said, I need to run a quiz program. I have certain questions on dharma. I mean, this is some, on a serious note, it's some questions on dharma that Nahusha wanted to ask. I have some serious questions on dharma, and if you answer these questions well, then definitely I am going to let go of your brother. This is the only way that you will be able to save your brother, and that is what Nahusha says. And again, see, Yudhishthira, you should really read this part if you can find on internet. He's definitely he has no tinge of ego in him, Yudhishthira. He knows he's Dharmaraja. He knows that he's probably the well versed in dharma. Just take the contrast of what Bhima thought in the beginning of this scene, and now what Yudhishthira thinks is, okay, you want to ask me certain questions, you please ask. You seem to be a very, you are someone who did so many yajnas and you were almost taken to Indraloka, so you know everything. So I will think a lot and I will try to give my best answers. That is what Yudhishthira said. This is a real beauty. He doesn't say, what dharma questions, right? Who is better than me in dharma? Bring it on, I will answer. No, that's not what he said. See, this scene actually marks that thin line between confidence and overconfidence. Yudhishthira did not even say, oh, you know so much, man. How can I answer your questions? I can't. No, he didn't say that either. Nor he said, bring it on, dharma. Who is better than me in dharma? I will answer. Nor he said that. He very politely said, very thoughtfully said, very mindfully said, yes, I know a bit about dharma. You please bring it on. I will think well and try to give my best answers. And that's confidence. That is what is called as confidence. Even if a kid is going to exam, someone thinking that this is something I'll score 100 here. That is also not good. Nor being afraid saying, oh, this one I'm going to fail for sure, I'm not going to do well for sure, he's definitely not going to do well. And we have seen both these cases. The best way to go in for an exam for a student is to say, okay, I have done my job, I've read well, I think I know this subject well, I will give my best in the exam and let's see what happens. And that slowly leads into the thread of Bhagavad Gita. All these things come back in Bhagavad Gita. So this is one main thread of Bhagavad Gita which keeps running, which we all know is Karmanyevadikaraste. So that is what Yudhishthira is. Yudhishthira says, I will try to answer. Now it's a very long conversation, but majority of the writings, the scriptures, what I have read, mainly deals with the questions about the Varnashrama. This is a very, very, very interesting thing in Mahabharata. Very interesting place in Mahabharata. I don't know why majority of the TV serials or whoever is telling Mahabharata usually skip this part, but I felt this is as important as Yaksha Prashna, that the conversation between Nahusha and Yudhishthira is about the Varnashrama. Now the question that Nahusha shoots to Yudhishthira is, he asks, who is a Brahmana? Okay, that's the first question. And a follow-up question to that, he is asking, what should be known? What is it that is worth to be known? So these are the two questions. For which Yudhishthira gives the answer. He thinks for a while. He says, okay, Brahmin is someone who has qualities like non-violence, discipline. He should be very polite. He should be caring. He should not be greedy. He should be compassionate. So he gives n number of qualities and say, the person who has these qualities is a Brahmana. Now please, he did not say, okay, a kid born to a Brahmana is a Brahmana. He said the qualities, he gives all the good qualities, the non-violence, not greedy, he should be disciplined, he should have learned Vedas, he should go in the path of Dharma, right? All this list he gives, and whoever possesses this is a Brahmana. And to the follow-up question, Yudhishthira answers, what is worth knowing is Parabrahman, Brahman. Why Brahman? Because the one who knows Brahman is freed of joy and sorrow. And we have been talking very consistently about this. And to a certain extent, when people mature, we will all understand that both super excitement and super sorrow is not good. Even super excitement, sometimes when you're extremely excited, you will be exhausted in a moment and it will lead you back to some sort of sorrow or some sort of lethargy, some sort of you don't feel good. So what actually feels good is that walking on that rope walk where you treat both of them very equally and keep a low profile on both. That is what is real peace of mind. That is what we call as. So Yudhishthira says someone who knows Parabrahman is freed of joy and sorrow. So he will know what is peace. And to which a follow-up question is short. This is definitely something that we all talk. In fact, the argument goes on and on and on. There is a whole lot of argument around this. Nahusha gives a follow-up question now to Yudhishthira. He asks, okay, if you say that qualities define a Brahmana, then what on earth is this caste system what you have made? What on earth is this Varnashrama you have made? It becomes pointless, right? So you have made a ashrama where this fellow born to this fellow, born to this fellow. He's continuing in the same Varnashrama, same caste. That becomes pointless. What nonsense are you talking? Someone who's defined by these qualities is a Brahmin, then your caste system, your Varnashrama, what you have made in the society becomes pointless. Yudhishthira gives an answer to that saying, yes, that is how it should be. Wise men consider that is the right thing because, see, a kid is born out of any man and woman, that's nature, right? You really cannot change that nature. That is how nature has built. So, when a kid is born out of any man and a woman, there is no caste. Caste is something the society has done for itself. So, you cannot ask the nature to come in line with your caste system. You cannot, right? So Yudhishthira says, since that is the case, since a kid could be born to any man and a woman, what is the way to define the quality? I mean, what is the way to define who is a Brahmin by looking at father and mother? You can't, right? You can't look at the father and mother always and say this fellow is a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Sudra or whatever, right? So since that is the case, and since that is how the nature operates, the only way to tell if somebody is a Brahmin or a Sudra or a Vaishnava or a Kshatriya is by looking at their qualities. Now, come on, this has been a fantabulous debate over the time. ಇದನ್ನಂತೂ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಕಡೆಯವರು ಈ ಕಡೆಯವರು ಕಿತ್ತಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಗುದ್ದಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಮಹಾಭಾರತದ ಈ ಭಾಗ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಮಹಾಭಾರತದ ಈ ಭಾಗನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ್ಲೇ ವ್ಯಾಸ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ವರ್ಣಾಶ್ರಮದ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ, ನಿನ್ನ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಏನು ಅದು ನಿನ್ನ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನೀನು ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣನ, ನೀ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯನ, ನೀ ವೈಶ್ಯನ, ನೀ ಶೂದ್ರನ ಅಂತ. ಈ 4 ಪಂಗಡದವರು ಯಾರು ಮೇಲು ಕೀಳು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಅವರವರ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಏನು, ಅವರವರ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಏನು, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ದ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಡನ್. ಅದು ಓವರ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಹಾಳಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೈರ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ನೌ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫೈರ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್, ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಹೊರತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಯೋಚನೆ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ನಾವು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ವಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಬಿ chaotic. That's not the right way. They gave some way to be organized, but it backfired because people misunderstood the whole concept. And now we are not even thinking of an alternate. We want to be completely disorganized and chaotic, which is definitely further going to hinder the society. Now, this I have discussed many times. But if we really understand, this is not something that our forefathers did not foresee. Vyasa, who actually, put the Vedas or kind of put the 4 Vedas together and passed it on to the mankind, he also was born to a Brahmin and to a fisherwoman, right? We have seen that in the story. It's not that Vyasa was born to a Brahmin and another Brahmin woman. His father was a Brahmin and he was born to a fisherwoman. It's a very well-known fact. But he ended up being Vyasa, right? Now, that is how it is. You really can't say, okay, how can you say Vyasa is a Brahmin? Because Vyasa is intelligent. He has all the qualities that defines a Brahmin. Vyasa don't know to be a Brahmin, and that is what he is saying. So Brahmin is defined by these qualities, Vaishya is defined by his qualities, Kshatriya defined by his qualities, Shudra by his qualities. So Yudhishthira concludes saying, since the nature says a kid could be born of any two people, any two partners, definitely the only way to identify who is a Brahmin or who is a Shudra is by looking at certain qualities. And this is a very fantastic conclusion that he gives. And then the follow-up to the other part of the question, Nahusha asks, what are you talking? You are saying someone will be freed of joy and sorrow, someone will be, will not have positive or negative. How is that even possible? Anything that exists is always possessed by these two. If you exist, you are possessed by joy and sorrow. You are sorrow now. You have done all this nonsense and you are roaming in the forest, you are sorrow. When you got Indraprastha, you were happy. So something that exists will possess that. How is it even possible that something can be there which doesn't have either joy or sorrow? For which Yudhishthira says, see, there is nothing that is actually there. There is science here, there is physics. It was very interesting. Yudhishthira says, think about heat and cold. What is heat and cold? Now, heat is heat and cold is when there is lack of heat. Correct? So one is lack of other. Now, since one is lack of other, what do you call a situation where there is lack of both? Or let's say, what do you call something that is neither hot nor cold from your perspective? Now that is what is balance. That is how it is. So when something called as hot and something called as cold exists, why do you think that there doesn't exist anything in between? When positive exists, when negative exists, why do you think there doesn't exist anything in between? So definitely such a thing exists, and it cannot be seen, or it cannot be smelled, or it cannot be touched. It can only be understood, it can only be felt within, from the inner eye. Such a thing exists, and that is what is worthy to be known. And that's the conclusion that Yudhishthira gives, to which Nahusha will be extremely happy, and he says, you have given the most satisfying answers for the question. In fact, there's a big conversation, but it all goes woven one to these. By the end of it, the Python says, you have given wonderful answers. I'm really happy with the answers you have given. So with that, I'm going to free your brother. Your brother is free now, and he frees up Bhima from his clutches. And then suddenly, as soon as he does that, as Agastya had pointed out, Nahusha will be cured of his curse, and he takes the form of a divine form who is ready to go to the Indraloka again. And just then the Indra's chariot arrives, and Nahusha gets into the chariot. He blesses Bhima and Yudhishthira, and he goes back to the Indraloka. So this is one bit. Not many scriptures cover it. But on the way to Kamyaka, the Pandavas go through this, and this is the point where Bhima's ego and Bhima's idea of Yudhishthira changes. In fact, if you see, our country itself is based on this theory, right? Any country who is not a military-based country, see, we don't make the strongest person our prime minister. That is how it was in the past. The king has to be a completely skilled, not even strongest, but got to be skilled in many ways. In fact, if you see, strongest person had to be a king, or if skilled person had to be a king, Bhima or Arjuna should have been the king, right? Why Yudhishthira? A learned person, a wise man. That is always what we have believed in, right? We have never given the highest priority to physical strength. This is one culture where wisdom was given a higher priority long before any other culture in the world could do it, and it very clearly reflects in Mahabharata in these places. This is one of the wonderful plays which I really love. So from after Nahusha's episode, Bhima starts fully respecting Yudhishthira without that thin line where he thought, okay, Yudhishthira is more or less, he's just there, he's a dummy fellow. Me and Arjuna will have to take care of everything. that kind of comes down to him, and he realizes that being Yudhishthira is also important, and it's not as easy as being Bhima. And with that, both the brothers embrace each other. They'll be very happy for what happened. They will now they will remember Krishna. They will thank Krishna wherever you are trying to save us. Now they will be very eager to come back to Kamyaka, because in Kamyaka and Dvaitavana they will be able to move between Kamyaka and Dvaitavana. So Kamyaka and Dvaitavana are very close to each other. They will be able to go across between the two places. So when they come there, they will be able to frequently meet Krishna. And that is one very important thing why as soon as Arjuna comes, he wants to come back to Dvaitavana and Kamyaka, because they will be able to frequently meet Krishna. With that, I end Nahusha's story here. And the next one, of course, is something that we all have been eagerly waiting for. That is Krishna's hunger, which we will take in the next session. Right? So, thank you for listening to this video, if you have listened to. And sorry I couldn't take face to face, but I hope this will keep the continuity, and we will meet again next week to take it forward. Have a good week ahead. Bye bye.